Hello, this is Ametamartha with Collection Ascension. This is going to be the last quarter moon reading on the 22nd of May. This energy will last us until the new moon on the 30th. And also, this is part one of a two-part reading where this will be the energy that we will have for this week. And then I will go ahead and continue doing a chaos reading where I pull the remainder of the deck and kind of intuitively lay each card until the deck is no longer remaining, and that is in an effort to use the energy that comes from the deck in its own order to rewrite new energy on the table for us to be able to access for the next lunar cycle. I just ask for clear guided messages for the collective so that I might be able to be used as a catalyst for this information for the betterment of anyone watching. Thank you. Last quarter moon is all about releasing that which no longer serves us. We've had conflict cards coming up, collaboration cards coming up in reverse, and maybe this is a time for us to really put to rest things that we are vibrating out of in order for us to call in something new for the future. But for now, what's going on for the collective right now? Thank you. So many reversals, man. Ugh. I think we're still in our head. Cycles of having to break down different neurological pathways that lead to disempowering thoughts that continuously keep us off track on which direction we're heading, or at least, they're being lit up so that we can establish new neurological pathways to compete with the things that have caused us to get off track in the past. Healing often has layer upon layer of emotional upheavals so that we can finally put to rest things that come from that deep brain subconscious level, so that we can shine the light on that and choose to put more of an effort to do what it takes to adjust those beliefs so that we can come up with something new. So being able to even just recognize these types of thought patterns that we entertain is the first step. And, sometimes in the moment, it can feel really bad to consistently be going through things or have things come up that make us want to just give up and not look at what we have right before us entirely. But if ultimately everything is for the benefit of our highest good, then also everything that does come up as it does, maybe one thing you finally lay to rest and now something new is immediately coming up. It's because of the effort being made to make those changes so that you can optimally function in the alignment to your actual life purpose and destiny. So we have the King of Wands here first, which is an indication that, there is some control or self-control and mastery being influential to the spiritual aspect of our journey. We obviously have some resilience, some passion, and some maturity in this area. However, I feel as though a lack of balance in our emotional field has caused us to go a little bit into a less diligent path and have become more saturated, less faithful, and a little bit more reckless. So with the Fool being in reverse, a lot of the time the Fool is depicted or is a representation of somebody who just has blind faith. They know that their intention is that the universe is going to provide for them, and though when the universe tells them they can go ahead and just leap off that cliff, they know that there's something higher regarding that in that circumstance, though, where they might still be in the unknown, but they will also be provided for in the end. But here with it in reverse, sometimes it has to do with being able or not being so connected to that sense of the nature of this card, and more so just kind of without a care or thought go into things that might not be actually in alignment with ourselves. So when our emotions saturate our actions or our ability to think of what we want to do, and we start to kind of mindlessly go into patterns that we are trying to shift, it throws our intuition and perspective and wisdom out of alignment and out of balance. Because with this energy here too, the image I'm getting with this Fool here is more along the lines of, say you're working on your trust in the universe and surrendering to whatever comes up as it comes up in an effort to practice that faith, and you're feeling crappy. You're having negative experiences trigger old thoughts and wounds that's making you lose touch with your gratitude and your wisdom and balance and what have you. And now your emotions are charging the way that you are interacting with your physical experience, and now you're acting irrationally or out of reaction rather than responding from that higher potential that you have and that you're trying to establish. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Not so much as that the efforts that we make are not creating us to be in that freedom mindset, but it's that what that effort is stirring up in us is going to put us in situations where we're either going to react the way that we always have or choose to change it. And right now, I think we have got a little carried away with ourselves in being overwhelmed by the present moment, not applying that balance that we have learned when we have put that into practice in the past. But out of it, we are developing in a new area and phase in our life, because even though we do have these cards here that are more mature with the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups, even with her in reverse, we do seamlessly go into the Page of Cups and the Page of Swords. So maybe being able to tackle this to where we can gain the information necessary for this chapter in our life and actually be able to feel into it in a way that it makes sense and it just clicks, then we kind of start that cycle over a little bit where now we're applying with more of like a less overwhelmed state of emotion with this Page of Cups here, since this is a new opportunity in the emotional field to receive certain insights and aspects of what we are going through physically with the aid of our guidance and intuition and what have you. And then with the Page of Swords, that's the application of that wisdom, with the swords being about our action and our thought. So learning how to pick up on these cues that are being brought to the surface so that we can apply something new to rewiring that and reacting or responding in a different new way that we're trying to shift into. So with the Three of Wands in reverse here, I think this is a time where we're being asked to start this work in practice because we have something coming in for us that we're going to need to be prepared for with the exercise of the intuitive connectivity to ourselves and what's best for us and how we want to see ourselves in alignment with that, because we're going to be asked to come out of this inward time and inward reflection and set foot into the world to where we're doing something more in alignment with that purpose and calling that we have. So we need to shine our light on the things that make us feel like we don't have very much going for us and that things aren't working out in the way that we wanted them to. We need to re-establish our gratitude for the opportunity to exercise so that we will be ready and prepared when this next chapter starts to unfold, and we need to start applying it in our day-to-day life in what is to come. So with the Devil and the Nine of Swords, can you tell us about what stirs that up? What causes that? Yep. It's a manifestation of our own doing here with the King of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. So we have all the power in the world to create a reflected reality based off of what we have going on within. And when we start to focus on this inhibition and sadness, the thing that makes us feel like, we're not going any further, that we don't want to be participants in this aspect of our lives, it makes us feel unmotivated and like we don't want to actually do the things that help us to embody this more powerful version of ourselves. Maybe falling out of your more healthy routines because you're in your head too much. Either way, the thought solidifies the experience, and when the thought comes up as something negative, to dwell and maintain that thought when you already have means to compete with the something to access that leads us to a more healthier outcome. When you already have something like that into play, and instead of engaging with that, we start being unmotivated and continuing to fall off of that news cycle, it only makes the experience even harder, which, everything is about timing. And sometimes we need to just keep going through those lower vibrational cycles until we really, really are ready to fully commit ourselves. What's up with the Five of Cups, please? That's an interesting one. The Four of Wands. So I'm thinking it really is just an opportunity for us to exercise gratitude, because if he isn't looking at what he does have here and is dwelling on all the things that he perceives he's lacking, but with the confirmation being something that like harmony and blessings and abundance and celebration here, like really it is just a shift in focus and perspective, continuing to allow those thoughts that make you not want to be motivated to live a more uplifted and optimistic life. Let that feeling itself be the thing that reminds you to say some, like to express some gratitude and thankfulness, like if you're starting to feel like shit, just allow that feeling to be the thing that causes you to remember, thank you for electricity, the simple things that we overlook all the time. What about the Pages, please? What is to come with their energy? What are we being prepared for? Okay, a disentanglement from that crippling mindset. So it's really just an opportunity to fully achieve the goal, the mental goals that we are establishing within ourselves individually, so that we can gain control and mastery over ourselves. Cool. Since this is going to be a long reading with part 2, I'm going to go ahead and pull some oracle cards about, these are the cards from the Ask Your Guides book. It is by Sonia Choquette. I leave a link in the description box to her book, Ask Your Guides, for anyone who's interested, so that you can kind of learn about the universal language of how our guides and spirits and nature communicates with us, so that we can have like a connected nature, ignite the connected nature that each of us possess. And these oracle cards are the guides and spirits that are around us presently that would like to help us with this specific feat. So who is around? We have devotion with the nature spirits, so that kind of already goes right along, and they've been present for weeks. So. Survival with the healer guides. And decisions with the higher self. Any more at all? Okay. So with devotion, I think like I was saying, it's just a matter of choosing to commit to the self and commit to the journey, so that you can no longer be in survival mode and actually connect with that inner healing. And then choose the path of least resistance with collaboration with your higher self. And we had this card last week too. So I'm going to read from the book for more detailed descriptions. Okay. Devotion, nature spirits, inspiration, contemplation, faith, and nature. The presence of God is everywhere, so if you feel disconnected from the divine, you're the one who left. Your nature spirits are beckoning you back to a place of awareness that reconnects you with your source. Do not allow your mind to isolate you in fear or get stuck dwelling on misery. Instead, go outside and take in the natural world, which is a beautiful gift for you to enjoy. See the divine all around you and focus on the beauty, power, and holiness that nature affirms. Humbly surrender to this greatest of forces present in all things, including you. The nature spirit's message is breathe in the divine. You are in God and God is in you. Survival with the healer guide, suspicion, endurance, vigilance, and perseverance. Your healer guides surround you and lovingly embrace your momentarily injured spirit. They want you to recognize that all attacks, betrayals, or injuries you've suffered, whether they were through unconscious behavior of others or thought of your own understanding or poor choices, they want you to recognize that all attacks, betrayals, or injuries you've suffered have left you physically wounded and fragile. It's no wonder your guard is up. It's difficult to trust even yourself at this time, but you must. And the only way to do so is to stop blaming yourself or others for what has occurred and forgive all the way around. Learn from your experiences and strengthen your boundaries and judgments. All human beings make grave and sometimes terrible mistakes. It's not your fault that you have felt violated. It's a lesson to learn from, nor is it weak to acknowledge that you've been hurt. Denial may serve in the midst of a crisis, but it only handicaps you it only handicaps you if you stay mired in it. I don't know. Admit to your injuries and disappointments and allow the nurturing forces of your healer guides to step in now. They're able to soothe your soul and reweave your aura with their loving light and nurturing forces. Trust their influence by dropping your defenses and acknowledging your wounds. They urge you to seek support from capable, caring professionals who help you learn from these disturbing experiences and show you how to prevent them from reoccurring again. Their message is, the danger has passed, you are safe now, and it is time to heal and learn from the experience. Decisions with the higher self, confusion, quandary, ambivalence, fuggling. I'm going to have to look up that one. You're faced with many choices and aren't sure what to do. Leave or stay, terminate or recommit, stop or continue, go out or stay in. Life is an endless stream of choices, and doing what's best is never a simple thing. Fortunately, your higher self can help you resolve these difficult decisions, especially if you're willing to let some of the balls you juggled drop by the wayside for now. The key to making the best choice is to simply follow your heart and attend only what you care about right now. Focus on priorities that feed your spirit and don't become overwhelmed by the demands and expectations of others. Your higher self, or ask your higher self to help you discern and trust in what requires your attention right now and be willing to disappoint people. Your higher self assures you that if what falls to the wayside isn't important in the long run, despite the drama of the moment, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Your higher self assures you that what falls at the wayside isn't important and in the long run, and despite the drama in the moment. Sorry. The message for you is don't try to be all things to all people. It's a waste of time and you will surely fail. So I think reinvigorating our personal sense of purpose for ourselves at this time so that we can be more ready to interact with what comes up in the future, so that we can actually be mentally sound and emotionally stable to be fully prepared to embody the Fool as we move forward. So I'm going to leave that here. And then if you are interested in watching part 2, where I pull the rest of the deck to rewrite the energy for us to access for the next month, then just go ahead and find part 2 now. Thank you.